Hi, guys. Welcome to the Pretty Little Book Nerds podcast. I am one of your hosts, Genevieve,
I'm Danielle.
and we have a lovely guest with us today. We have Tessa Bickers, author of The Book Swap. Um, this is a huge deal. Thank you so much for being here. Um, Give us a little introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself for those that don't know you.
So I'm Tessa Bickers. I'm based in the UK, and I got my first book, The Book Swap, out in September 2024 now, so over a year ago. Um, and I've just been working on my second one, so that's been keeping me busy. And aside from that, I have a 7-year-old and a one-eyed cat and a very cheeky dog.
I just saw that your second book is going to be released in May.
I know
That's
it
so
is.
exciting.
I
Yes,
did
the
not see
night
this at all.
bus. It's called The Night Bus. It's out on May 19th.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
It
I'm
is.
excited to read it. I love the cover.
Yes, me too. I love the cover.
Now I need to look this up. Now I'm feeling left out. Let's see. Um,
I have one. I don't
So,
have any.
how did you get the idea for the book swap? I mean, we have the little book libraries all over
Yeah.
town, and they're popping up more and more in cities and even small towns too. So how did you get the idea of it?
So I had just had my daughter, and I used to just take her to the park every day. And every day I would walk past this little library, which was near where we lived. And as my daughter got older, we'd stop and see what books were in there. And I started to realize whenever I passed it that I'd be getting really excited on the walk because I knew I was going to end up at this little library. And it kind of added quite a lot of joy to my day. And it was also a time where I was quite lonely and you're just sort of parenting and you don't see many other people and your child isn't that interesting because they don't speak yet. No offense. I mean, there's um, and so after a while from visiting it, I kind of was like, this would be such a nice setting for a book. And what are the different reasons that people would visit it? And is there a story in there somewhere? And then I tried to find one.
I think it sounds like fun. I mean, I'm not single, but I wish it would happen to me where I could make a friend through just writing back and forth and annotating books. Do you
Same.
annotate books too?
I I do, yeah. I read books with a biro and highlighter and go through them and any quotes I love, I always underline and then I'll go back through them at the end. And I haven't figured out how to do it on the Kindle though. You know, when you go on the Kindle and they're like loads
Oh,
of highlighted quotes, and I'm like, oh, I need to do that.
you
I'm
have
not
to
very
click on the word, or not click, but press down on the word, and then there's an option to highlight and save that spot.
see now I'm gonna do that too.
Yeah.
Because
Because
I
I'm
just
not on the
think
Kindle often, and I accidentally highlighted a word, and I was like, how do I get that off of there?
that's
And I
me
wouldn't
all
go
over.
on to the next page until I got that off of there.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Well, yeah, I feel like there's so much in books that you want to remember. And so it's just the perfect way to do it. And then to tie it into a love story or even just a friendship, writing letters and communicating through the written word is not that common anymore. And it's such a kind of nostalgic, beautiful way to meet someone. So
yeah.
I kind of got excited by the thought of it, basically.
um, when it comes to the characters, I really loved the backstories, the individual backstories of the characters, not just the fact that they, already had some history there, but um, the situation with the male main characters' parents, and the female main character getting going through grieving her friend's passing and trying to live life in a way that would make that person proud and like all that stuff. Where did that come from for you?
I was thinking about that last night actually, because I it's because I've been so focused on my new book. I was like, let me just remind myself about this one. And I think you can't help but put yourself into what you write. And at the time that I was writing the book swap, I was lonely, like I said. Um, I was full-time parenting. I didn't have much going on. And my stepmom had died a few years previously, and I was still very much dealing with the loss of her and the grief and how grief shifts and changes, but it doesn't. For me, it wasn't. It didn't go. It wasn't lessening. It was just changing. Um, and I don't think I realized at the time that I was kind of not healing myself, but understanding my own grief through figuring out Erin's journey through it. Um, and I knew that I kind of wanted that journey to never be about getting over someone because you don't. So, um, and then with James's parents, I haven't had personal experience with a parent with it, but I have friends with bipolar, and I have friends with parents with bipolar, and I have always found it something so interesting to um, talk to people about and understand as how that what kind of family dynamic it creates, and um, how people fit in with a life with that. And um, I just wanted to try and do it as sensitively as I could, while knowing um, how much, how what an amazing person James was because of the way that he lived his life, kind of thing.
Um, I also, and this might not, I don't know if this would have been as big of a deal to a lot of other readers as it was to me, but not just thinking about James' mom, but also his dad's backstory, kind of being this one-hit wonder, kind of could have made it, but chose not to, in pursuit of having a family. I'm very intrigued at where that came from.
I love writing dads. I It's always one. I just loving dads are just my favorite thing to write about. Um, and I always knew, and from speaking to friends who've been through it, just I knew what a solid man he would be. Um, and the choices like how you live your life would have been so easy for him because he knew the life that he wanted. I don't know where it came from. I mean, it's probably a little bit me, and that I was a musician before I wrote, and I did kind of one day decide not to do that anymore. So there's always that letting go of your own stuff in your writing. Um, but I just love the idea of that being his choice. I thought I just really liked that as a way of shaping how James then changes himself through the book, through that understanding of who his dad is as a person. Because I don't think we sometimes think about it. Your parents are just like there to parent you, kind of thing. And then you're like, oh, wait, you're a whole person? What did you do with your life and why? It's not just about me. Who knew? I wanted to explore that a bit too.
I love that. Um, I also, one other thing I wanted to mention, I took a photo of this quote and sent it to a friend of mine because I loved it so much. Um, the irony of it, that in allowing her to be herself, I have to be anyone but me. I just absolutely loved how you wrote that. And I guess I wanted to just kind of talk about how you came to the conclusion that there was going to kind of be this secret of who he was within it. Like, of course, the reasoning kind of makes sense with, past issues between the two of them and things like that. But he could have just told her like, "Hey, this is who I am," but you decided to make it very secretive. And so I wanted to ask what the motive was behind that, I guess.
Yeah, that's a hard one because I love him so much, and I knew that that's a hard choice to make, and for readers to be on board with why he did it. And I remember going back and forth of who would find out first and why, or whether they'd both find out at the same time. And I I played around with a lot of different versions of the moment. Um, I've realized I'm giving lots of spoilers, but
We
um,
tend to do that here.
That's okay. That's what we do because it's
Yeah.
like
okay,
book reviews too. So
okay, great. Um, I I knew that he would never want to hurt her again, and in her finding out it was him, he would have done that. And I think that made me feel comfortable in the decision that he would lie to kind of protect her. I didn't ever feel like it was driven from a totally selfish place. Obviously it was a bit, but I think they formed such a connection, and he knew that they had, that actually the truth would have hurt more at that point. But
yeah,
also it, you know, I just always had this moment in my mind of how they would find out. And I wanted, I knew how I wanted that scene to play out, and how hurt she would feel. But actually, when you dig deeper, there's a lot more to it.
Now, we've talked a lot about the characters, but it is called the book swap. There's a lot of discussions about other books in this book. So, where, or I guess not where, what made you pick the books that you picked to talk about in this book?
That was so hard. I've got so many in here that I didn't put in. And I had the most fun of my life choosing them. Um, so it was a really weird process in that I would be doing anything, I don't know, like washing the dishes, and I'd suddenly think, I'm just looking, I've got them all here. I think, like, what about the Great Gatsby? That would be cool. And then I'd look at a quote, and I would be writing a scene in the book, and the quote would fit perfectly with that moment in the book. It just kept happening that way. It was a really magical process, actually. Every time I thought of a book and started reading it and looking through it, it just seemed to fit in with what was happening in their lives in that moment. Um, and then the last book that I knew that I um, wanted was The Perks of Being a Wallflower, because I just loved it so much. And then when I thought about what that book is about, and it's friendship and three friends and all of that, I thought, I'll put that one in for sure. And I wanted to focus on classic books, and I just think they're timeless, and there's so much in them, and people know them well. Um, and then there's all the obvious ones, and then certain ones where I thought, no, I'd read a quote from one book like Beloved and think I have to put that in, even if people don't know it. And then maybe I've had photos from people who've read my book and then sent me a stack of, because they've then gone and bought all the books that are in the book, which is insane to
oh,
me.
that's fun.
Yeah. Um, so I don't know how there wasn't much of a process other than I'd just suddenly think of a book and be like, oh, could that work? And that, but like I said, I've got a whole shelf behind me of ones where I was like, yeah, that's a really good one. Then I read it and I was like, nope, it's not right. Maybe it will appear in a different one.
So you like the classics. Does that mean that you always like the adaptations that come out of the classics? I mean, we're getting a new Wuthering Heights this year. Like, do you feel like at some point they get overdone, or are you just enjoying them every time?
I do you know I actually don't reckon I've watched them all, but I love any of them. I love The Great Gatsby. I love all the Pride and Prejudice. That's huge over here with the Colin Firth in his white shirt. Um, I think they're just going to keep coming, and they should. I'm really excited about the Wuthering Heights one. That's going to be,
Yeah. I
yeah.
love that actress. I forgot her name, but
Margot Robbie
Is it?
is it her?
for
Yeah,
the
it is because I was thinking it was the other woman that looks exactly like her, but no, it is Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie too. Like,
uh, Danielle.
um, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Um, so I always ask about the covers too, because it varies of like authors who get a say in their covers. Did you get a say in this
I
one at all?
I did. I got a sketch of it and immediately was like, yes, that's perfect. And then they didn't tell me what colors it would be or anything, and then it arrived and I just absolutely loved it. Um, so I would have had comments if I had any, but there were none. It was just exactly how I pictured the cover to be, but
Yeah,
better.
I love it because it's like so simple, and I think for people that love the little free libraries, like it just draws you in.
Yeah, I hope most people love the free libraries because they are the greatest things.
Yeah. Um, so you said that you had the idea for the entire book first, but did you have like the characters or specific situations in mind too? Like what was your writing process um when
This
writing the
one,
book?
this one was um it it's I know I keep saying it was kind of quite magical, but it was like I thought about the two of them meeting and then immediately Bonnie, just as she is in the book, she just appeared and I could not get rid of her. And I didn't know who she was or why she was there at first, but there was just this character screaming like, I'm going to be in this book too. Um, and so the three of them were immediately like what shaped it. And I remember emailing my agent because I'd given her the rough idea, and then I'd gone back to her and said, I've just realized this whole thing is because of Erin's friend Bonnie. And she was like, I love what you've done there. And I wouldn't normally say that about someone, something so sad, but yes, I get why. And I don't know where she came from. I just knew that it had to be something so powerful that would drive Erin through the book, and Bonnie just appeared and was like, I think that's me.
Oh,
And then the other characters I think came a bit later. Although actually Erin's sister, Georgia, was very, very loud in my head the whole time. And at some point in the future, I'd love to write a book from her perspective because I couldn't stop her talking to me.
yeah. Oh, I would love to read that too. Because she was like, even with like some of the sadness, like she was a funny
He was
um
great.
Yeah,
side character.
she was like the only person that Erin could be herself around. And I think everyone has someone in their life that's like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, she was, a bit bratty and an annoying younger sister to her too, but she was always, it was always where she kind of discovered who she was as a person when she was around her sister, I think. So I don't know what George's story would be, but I'd love to write it. And then I've had a few people message saying, please, can you write Bonnie's before story?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like
Yeah,
when they were teenagers
I think
or
so.
in college. Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know, it's too sad. I don't know if I could face it.
Um, Sorry, I'm just going through my questions.
Oh, good.
Um, did you always know that you wanted to be a writer?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I have always written. It's like how I process my emotions. And there was a while where I switched then to writing songs instead, but I've never been able to understand how I feel about something by just sitting and thinking about it. I have to write it. And now I do that in like 90,000 words. And then by the end, I'm like, I get it now. That's what mood I was in. But yeah, I've always loved it. And then wrote stories all through my teens. And then my mum gave me a copy of a book by Marianne Keyes, who she's an Irish writer, and I don't know how well known she is in America. But it was a book called Watermelon, and I read it and I just thought it was the first time I was like, oh my goodness, but like you can write a really emotionally impactful book that's got these really fun characters and there's so much humor in it. And I hadn't really read anything like that before. And after that, then I was like, this is what I want to do. And about 500 years later, here I am.
What did you do before you started writing the book swap?
I actually sold novelty gifts. So, like
Oh,
a pencil sharpener that's a cat, and then when you put your pencil in its bum, it meows. That was
oh my
my
God.
classy career before the
Did you like
that
invent them or?
I didn't invent that one. I did work, it was a product design company as well. So yes, we did create some products. I think that the best-selling one was a map where you scratch off where you've been. That was one of our.
Oh, my kids have those.
There you go.
Yeah.
They were easy to sell. The cat bum sharpeners were less so.
I would have bought one.
I would have
Yes.
too.
So I did that, but I would do music. I would go and do gigs in the evenings. I always had to do something creative on the side of it, but I did that for about 15 years. But before that, I interviewed celebrities for radio stations, which was,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I went from like meeting Leonardo DiCaprio to a cat bum pencil sharpener. So that's the roller coaster of life.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just gonna ask, just because now I'm curious. I'm sure you've been asked this before. Who's your favorite person you ever interviewed?
Sarah Jessica Parker was
Oh, really?
lovely.
Oh,
She was, yeah. And Pink. Pink,
oh.
yeah.
Nice.
I can see how those would be like very fun and relaxed because I would be nervous to interview a celebrity.
Yeah. I did have an awful time with the Sex and the City cast because I was such a huge fan that I kept calling them their names in the show and it didn't go down well after a while. I mean,
They
like, so
have to be used to it though.
I don't know if they were. They were acting like this doesn't, most people learn our names. I'm like, so tell me, Miranda. And she's like, it's Cynthia. I'm so sorry. I didn't style those ones out very well, which is maybe why I liked Sarah Jessica Parker so much because she didn't mind. Hey, Carrie, sorry.
Can you tell us who was the worst person you interviewed? No,
I
okay.
don't have enough money for the lawyers that I would. I'll tell you after. I'll tell you after.
Okay. We won't tell anybody.
Um, this book is a lot about being influenced by what you read, um, and how what you read impacts you. Um, and honestly, even before I read the book, this book already did that for me. It was Danielle, I think I was with you. I was my first time at my local bookstore, and I'd been looking everywhere for your book. And I was just at the point where I was like, I'm just gonna have to order it, and literally walked in and found it right there as the last copy. And
Love
and then
that.
and then reading it. Part of the reason I asked about the dad was because the storyline of him understanding why his dad gave up music and all of that um, opened up a dialogue with my own dad because he kind of did the same thing. He gave up music and became a teacher so he could have a family and not have to worry about, money and bills and health insurance and all that stuff. And it opened up a great dialogue because I felt a similar way. I always felt very guilty.
Yeah,
My dad gave that up.
yeah.
And so I do want to say part of the reason I'm mentioning all that is mostly to say thank you for that because that was a huge deal for my dad and I to have that conversation. But also just how do you feel now having a book that's out there influencing people and making an impression on people?
It's like makes me want to cry. It's the greatest part of the job that I never. It feels weird calling it a job. I can't call it a job. It's like a gift. Um, I had never considered that being an outcome of my writing. Um, and the messages that I've received and what you're saying is just very overwhelming. But if that's what I can do, then there's no greater gift in the world than helping people. Because books have helped me too. So yeah, I just didn't ever think that would be something my book would do. So thank you, and I'm really glad that you had that conversation. I feel like we should all talk to our parents more than we do. I'm useless at it. um, yeah, that's what I wanted to do in the book is celebrate just how important they are. And just sometimes you read one line and you feel understood and heard in a way that you didn't know. You thought you were alone, and then suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, other people feel this way too. And it prompts thoughts and feelings and it starts conversations. And that's why books are the best thing in the world.
Um, so you said you're writing another book.
I am.
Because usually we ask if you can talk about what you're writing. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you've got coming out?
Yes. This is I have not done this yet. I've had no training. It's called The Night Bus, and it's about a girl called Daisy who rides the night bus to work every day. And on that bus, she always sees the same man in the same seat, and he's reading the same one book over and over again. And she starts to wonder why, and it's their story.
That's awesome. I like
Oh.
that.
Yeah. And I got to ride the London night buses, which was great fun for research. So yes, I'm just on the final edit of that now. And then I can't touch it again. And then I can only hope that yeah, people enjoy reading it. That's out of my hands now, which is terrifying. So
Are there going to be advanced reader copies?
I think it's on NetGalley now.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
We're both like, let's
Hang on. Pause.
But it might only be for HTP Hive, perhaps at the moment. I'm not sure.
let's see. We we love NetGalley, so
I love NetGalley. Again, I'm not great at it, but I've got books from it somehow, and I'm like, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I thought when I first signed up that I wouldn't get approved for anything. And then all of a sudden I had like 4 books and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even keep up with this.
I know. I think I requested one from like one of my favorite authors, and then got it, and I was like, I don't understand how this works. This is amazing.
I know. We both got approved for have you ever read anything by Kate Robb?
No,
The
do
Kitty
I
St.
need to?
Clair's Last Dance or something?
Okay.
Is that it? Yeah, Last Dance. Um, she's pretty popular and we both got approved for the same book. And we were
That's
like, that's weird,
That's a
but
huge deal. She's one of my favorite authors. Oh, like she's
yeah.
great.
I just put a request in.
Me too. We like jumped at it.
Live, live on the pod. The request.
Even if I don't get it, I will buy it though. I promise.
Oh yeah. No, like because we interviewed
Even if I
Kate
do get it.
Robb. We interviewed Kate Robb after reading the arc on NetGalley, and I told her I was like, I purchased the book too. Should is it that different? Do I need to reread it? And so I
Yeah,
made sure to ask.
yeah, because it's on NetGalley now, but I'm still editing it, so I won't
Oh,
change it
wow.
too much.
Yeah, I'll have to go in and like pre-order it from my local bookstore because I love doing that and forcing them to
Yes,
put books in that I like.
I love that. Thank you. That works for me.
I should do that too. But sometimes when you, or I guess if you pre-order from a local store, then you can pick it up that day.
Yep. That's what I'm looking forward to. I already have like 2 books coming out this year that I've pre-ordered.
Because I don't want to like pre-order it and then have to wait for like them to ship it to me.
Oh no, I do pick up in store
Because I
because
don't want to
I
wait.
know that then that'll give me the excuse of, oh, well, I was at the bookstore and I saw this other book. So I just
Yes,
picked it up and I had
I
already
have
paid for
to.
the other one. So
But they like you have to do that because books find you, don't they? You
yeah.
go into a shop and you're there for a completely different reason. Then you just pick one up and you'll read like one line and go, okay, that's why I'm here. I have to get this one now. Will I read it? Hopefully.
You get it.
Yeah. But for now, here it is by my bed.
Um, who are some of your favorite authors, either right now or just in general?
um, Marianne Keyes, as I mentioned, I actually just had a lovely message from her and lost my mind, but she inspired me to write, so she's up there. I'll read anything that she writes. Now I'm just going to look. I've got all my favorites down here. Um, oh, well, a few of my favorite books are Talking at Night um, by Claire Daverley, which is a just a beautiful love story. And then Sorrow and Bliss is another of my favorites by Meg Mason. Um, and then there's an author called Leah Lois, who I read. I think that's how you say her name. I read all of hers. Um, Emily Henry, obviously. Um,
I love it.
there's just like so much talent that it's overwhelming in terms of what you choose to read. I really struggle. And I find it really hard to read when I'm writing. So that then gives me less time. And then I'm so pressured of like, I don't know what to choose. But, oh, and Wedding People. Have you read Wedding People?
No, I
No.
haven't.
Okay. I think that's my favorite read of last year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I loved it. You recorded one last night.
Yeah, we talked about like our favorite books that we read last year. So it's fun to hear what
What
other
were
people liked. Oh God, so many weird things.
It, they were
they?
supposed to be like the top 10, but I had like 15, I think. We did a
Yeah.
lot of honorable mentions.
Yeah, we did do a lot of honorable
And
mentions.
a ninth equal is at least 15.
Yeah. No, a lot of I read a lot of medical nonfiction and true crime. So I had like a couple of those on there. And then a book about the seeing the world through the eye of a cat, which is a really good book.
Is that what it's called?
It's no, it's called She and Her Cat. It's based off of like a
Ah,
Japanese like short film, I believe. It
I
was one
think,
of those weird like being in the library and seeing something and being like, that looks interesting, and just picking it up and then I ended
yeah.
up really enjoying it. But
When one of my favorite memories is like when I started writing in my 20s, and you'd get this writers and artists yearbook, and you'd have to go through and find who you wanted to submit your book to. And there was always in there um, a cat magazine. It was called like Your Cat magazine or something. And then in bold, like with stars, asterisks either side, it was like, please no day in the life of my cat articles. And seeing through the eyes of my cat. Because I think people were like, I know what would be really cool to submit to those guys. What if I was my cat? But this woman sounds like who wrote that book smashed it.
yeah, it was, I mean, it was interesting. It was really cool. But yeah, Danielle, do you have anything? I'm trying to think of something. Trying to make sure we cover our bases.
Um, so we went over favorite books. Do you have a favorite author, like of all time?
Still Marianne Keyes.
Oh,
She's
okay.
good.
Wait, did we ask that?
I
I
don't
don't
Or
know.
maybe,
Maybe it was favorite books. I'll keep saying her.
oh,
But
okay.
um
Uh,
yeah, only because I find her very inspiring.
what are you reading right now?
I'm actually reading an advanced copy of my friend Becky Hunter's book, which is brilliant. Which
Oh,
name I need to check if it's the same in America. Um, and it's on my Kindle, and I can't remember what it's called, and she's going to kill me. Let's.
it's okay. We can look it up. Becky Hunter? Okay.
Um,
But other than that, I'm reading The Night Bus for the 507th time because I'm editing it, which is a tricky job. But yeah, I've been reading that quite a few times recently, and then finding space to read other stuff in between. But once I've done this, then I can go back to my read nonstop other people's books, which I'm very excited about. There's so many good ones. I just take screenshots all the time of like, right, this is what I'm going to read next, and I'll let you
yep.
know what I pick.
I think I went through all of my questions.
Okay then. Well, thank you so much for
You,
being here and dealing with our tech issues.
oh,
Tech issues and rescheduling. I'm
Oh
so
yeah,
sorry
that
about
too.
all of that.
oh, I think I did too. Don't worry about that. And tech issues are a strength of mine. So,
Here, I'm gonna let us say bye on here and stop the recording.
okay.
So thank you so much for being on here and thank you for listening if there's anybody out there listening. And we will see you next time.